This is One on One. We are pleased to be joined by Yvette Long, who is the executive director of an organization called Platinum Minds. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
What is Platinum Minds?
Platinum Minds is a leadership development organization for boys. We work with boys in our urban communities, helping them develop leadership skills, giving them educational resources, and helping them be successful as they go through high school and go on to college.
Why'd you start this?
Just read an article, in 2006 about the number of boys that were being killed on our streets, and thought that, maybe there was something that I could do. Looking at my talent, some of my skills, and decided that, I could do something because this was horrible. And I didn't feel that as a mother myself, that all the mothers that are suffering, losing their children, and all the talent that we're losing in our society with these young boys losing their lives at such early ages, that it wasn't what I felt that what God wanted for our nation and for our world, for us to sit back and watch this happen. So,
Your background before you started this, describe it.
My background is a teacher, also guidance counseling, and prior to that I was a model most of my life. So most of my life I was a model, and before I founded this organization I was a stay-at-home mom with my 2 girls, and just thought that, looking at that background, that there was something that, and I heard this voice saying, Yvette, you can make a difference, you can do something. And, I talked to my pastor about it, and I said, why do I hear this voice? And he says, Yvette, we're all called to do things, but we don't always listen. And I felt that, I had to listen to that voice to really take some action.
Describe some of the programs and initiatives that you're involved in that make a difference.
Well, I was just putting together a report looking at some of the things. We're facing our 10th anniversary,
Congratulations.
Which is very exciting. Yeah, it's very exciting. And it's hard to believe, after we've been here for 10 years. But putting together a report about that, I realized that we've helped about 100 boys in our program. And boys start in our program when they're 11 years old. And we help them right through middle school, and then they stay with us until they graduate high school.
What do you do for them?
We provide what we look at leadership skills, because we think about, if you're going to change some of the problems in our communities, what's the best way to do that? And that is through great leadership. And we don't look at leadership, we look at leadership as being something, we have 5 core values, which is community service, being involved in your community, caring about your community, caring about others. We look at integrity, having a sense of integrity about who you are.
What do those young men? What those young men mean to you?
It shows me that there's promise in our world, that these young men are going to do great things. They're going to make changes in their communities and make lives better for other boys. Because in our program, we want our boys to see themselves as role models and mentors to younger boys in their schools and wherever they go in society.
Are they from all different kinds of communities or disproportionately urban communities?
Mostly urban communities. We look at communities that are challenged because of drugs or violence, unemployment, and these boys, deserve an opportunity to do well.
Don't they?
Yeah, they deserve opportunity.
How do they find you?
Well, we look for organizations that might refer students to our program. We work together with different schools. Right now, in fact, we have several schools that in addition to our leadership program, part of that, we have a literacy program where we work with boys kindergarten to 5th grade, helping those boys. And that program has been so successful. That's part of our leadership, because in order for leaders to really understand their value, we felt that they needed to experience being in the community, not just in the classroom. So we have a reading component, a literacy program that our boys, and that has been very successful. And so we've had several schools reach out to us and say, can you help bring that program to our school? So we said, absolutely, but one of the challenges is just finding the funding for that. I mean, we can be in multiple schools with additional funding.
If you had the money.
You have the funding to do that, because we look at, why are these schools unable to oftentimes provide some of these basic fundamentals for young men as far as reading literacy? And it has to do with funding, really, and getting those resources to the students.
Right.
We're able to do that because we're a small organization and we have that direct contact.
Who
We're
else
right
there, other than you, who's on board?
We have our instructors. Right now, we're in Morristown, we're in Newark, and we're in Asbury Park.
So let me ask you a
So,
question. Why is this so personal for you?
I think because I think that we can do better as a society, and I think that we all have opportunities and gifts that God has given us, and we should use those to the best of our potential to help others.
So you see some of these
So-
young men, right?
Yeah.
Tell us one young man who you're confident is doing better things than he might otherwise not have done if he had not been in the program.
Oh my gosh, there's so many boys.
Name one.
You want me to give his name, or I don't know if I can
Your
give his name or not. Okay. We have a young man who just graduated from Rutgers, comma cum laude, and he is now working at JP Morgan. And he, not only that, he also started a business. And he says, Mrs. Long, I want to be able to help other boys through this business that I'm doing, helping. He does bodybuilding. And he says, I want to help other boys understand that, to have that confidence. And to me, that was an example, but we have, honestly, many more examples of these young men who feel like they can help other young boys. And that's what we want. That's the biggest thing we want, is for them to understand, one, have a great education,
Right.
have the resources to get that education, and then to understand that I'm so valuable to this world, and how can I give something back to others?
We're also involved in STEM as a very big focus: science, technology, engineering, and math. Before I let you go, I'm curious about something.
Sure.
So much media focus on the problems, on the strife, on the tension, on the lack of trust between young black men, boys, and law enforcement. What do you teach the young men in your program?
That law enforcement is not the enemy, and that really there's, in our society, because of the color of your skin, unfortunately, you're going to be judged differently. You're going to be judged before you even get a chance to meet that person. It doesn't matter, law enforcement or anyone in our society. Even unemployment is so high among the
Way too
black
high.
community, and that's all. A lot of that has to do with the color of your skin. You get judged by that, and I tell them, be proud of who you are, even though others don't quite understand that you have so much value, and you can provide so much to our society. Just have that love for yourself and value and understand that there's so much you can do. And you can begin to make those changes in helping other young boys. That's really big, is to really help other young men in our program. Any fathers, I wanted to say, any fathers out there, because we have a lot of boys that come from single parent families, and they want that connection with their father. If you ever, have a young man that comes and wants to connect with you, just, embrace him and love him, because he wants and needs that validation from his father.
Yvette Long, keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks.
Executive Director of an organization called Platinum Minds. You're doing good work.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Thank
it. Stay right there. We'll be right back and from NJIT right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by NJIT, Investors Bank, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, Century 21 Construction, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, the New Jersey Education Association, and by the Fidelco Group. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been produced in cooperation with FiOS One News.